Two people before me asked the question that I had, so I don't have one now. Except that, how do you circumvent boredom?
Boredom is a product of this. Fear of rocking the boat. And so it's just playing it the safe way. Don't let myself dream much, because I might dream beyond my belief, and then I might get uncomfortable. So it requires a sort of bigger picture, which we've been talking about here today. We said earlier that most people would rather have negative emotion than no emotion at all. But someone who really wants to feel good is sort of tending things, sort of practically tending things. So boredom is the opposite of momentum toward wanted. So think about this. You're going to really like this. It'll make perfect sense to you. You'll understand it exactly. So you understand law of attraction enough, and you understand that law of attraction creates more momentum, because when you hold a thought for as little as 16 seconds, 17 seconds, 16 seconds, 17 seconds, getting faster, then another thought like it joins it. And when you hold that thought for another thought like it joins it. And that's what momentum is. And this momentum is whether it's a wanted thought or an unwanted thought. Law of attraction does not discriminate. Law of attraction doesn't say, wait, he wants to feel good, don't give him momentum on that bad feeling thought. The law of attraction just responds to whatever thought you've got active. Let's say you're thinking about something that's pleasant, and then another thought joins it, and 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 before you know, you've got a really fast-moving, good-feeling thought going, and that's not boredom. That's what our friend just before you was talking about. There is momentum in that. Same thing. Think about something you don't want. I really don't like that. If you don't contradict that or redirect it with, but I do like this about it, then the momentum will continue to move that way and that way and that way and that way. Does that make sense? Momentum will happen either way. So someone who's experienced momentum getting better and better and better, or someone who's experienced negative momentum, then you become sort of freaked out about your own thoughts. And there's a sort of compensation that people who think a lot do, where you deliberately don't let yourself gather this momentum for fear that you cannot maintain it. If someone called you on the telephone and said this answer to your question, hello, you don't know me, I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again, you would say, alrighty then, thanks for letting me know. But if someone you really care about called you on the telephone or contacted you and said, I'm not ever going to speak with you or be with you again, you would feel strong negative emotion if it was someone you really cared about. So sometimes when you have allowed yourself to really want, but you haven't known about the power of thought or the direction of thought, and so you've been practical and you've contradicted the thought. When you really want something, but you're thinking in opposition to it, it is really uncomfortable.
Or I don't know what I want.
Well, if you don't know what you want, it's because you have denied letting yourself think about what you want. And that's why this conversation that we're having here today can be so effective and productive and practical for you. You kind of accept the existence of this vibrational reality. Just go with us on it for a bit here. There's not a human on earth who can stand and look into that vibrational reality and define with any precision what's there, because it's ingredients that will become things that are discernible. But the ingredients in and of themselves, unless you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you can't find meaningful things out of that vortex. It would be like looking in the cupboard. Have you ever had a well-stocked kitchen and the kids look in and they say there's nothing to eat here because it all has to be assembled, and they can't imagine assembling it, so it looks like there's nothing in there? Well, it's sort of like that. It has to be assembled. Better said, it is being assembled. Better said, you got to let it be assembled, and then you just want to quiet your mind and catch a glimpse of it and catch a glimpse of it and catch a glimpse of it. And why would someone not do that? It's this practical nature of, well, I want that but, or I want that but, or I want that but. So just not allowing Sometimes what it requires, Jerry, Esther's Jerry, who departed a few years ago, dearly departed, still haunts her all day, every day. It's lovely. He had an experience where he, in a long ago relationship, where he was trying to please someone and couldn't, no matter what he did. And it went on for a long time. And finally, one day, it just reached a crescendo of weariness. And he said to Esther, in fact, he told her this story while they were standing on the spot. They were in Spokane, Washington, standing in front of the Davenport Hotel. And Jerry said he just received more bad news on the telephone, and he went out into the street. It was snowing. And he looked up at whatever he thinks is up there. That's not where we are, but you all. He looked up and he said and meant, I give up. And in that moment, goosebumps starting at his toes all up through. And then he said for weeks and 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 weeks, he was in a sort of state of euphoria. Everyone wanted to be around him. So he's asking us, this was years before he knew us. He's asking us what happened. And we said, you had powerful desire that was being sifted and sorted out through that relationship. Powerful, powerful, powerful desire that through your action you could not accomplish. And what you gave up was not your desire. What you gave up was your resistance. What you gave up was your struggle. What you gave up was your ineffective, mediocre, physical human action against the powerful law of attraction. Does that make sense? So what causes boredom is an unwillingness to feel pain. But there's another way of going about it. You can have a little pain and get over it. In other words, it's an understanding of how this all works. And it's an innate knowing, which we're wanting to help everyone accomplish here today, that life is supposed to feel good. And it will if you'll let it. And everything's really on track. Nothing's gone wrong. Because in all that you've lived that you think might not be working, you've created a vortex that still calls you. But when a vortex is calling you and you can't quite hear it, and your habitual thoughts won't let you go, then that gets uncomfortable enough that you do everything that you can do to not think about what you want. And that equals boredom. When you won't even let yourself think about what you want for fear that in the doing so there will be pain. Yeah. Enough? Really good. Really good. Well, we can all go home. Doesn't get any better than that. Good time for a segment of refreshment.